doubles and coffee. The inability to read the room seems to be a pandemic in Trinidad and Tobago. The Law Association of Trinidad and Tobago does not seem to realize that the country, the citizenry, the people have gone past them for a long time. When you lose the ability to speak cogently, honestly, pertinently, factually based to the citizens on topics under your realm, under your remit, when you fail to deal with those issues, the people move on. Social media, the internet, Wi-Fi, social media platforms have been a freeing the minds from mental slavery. Slavery is finally being attacked at all levels. And that is because truth can prevail. So when the Law Association comes out now to talk and realizes that nobody cares because they've lost their moral authority to speak on any matter, because when there was the time and the chance to speak about an attorney general who went into a court of foreign jurisdiction and lied in documents, perjured himself, the Law Association not only stayed silent, did not make any press release or media release. When Kyle Takral Singh brought a motion for this attorney general, the perjurer, the liar, to be brought before the Law Association and to be summarily punished and told that that's not on and against the professional standards, the majority of members turning up to voted that lying in court is okay. And therefore, Law Association, the population, the doubles vendors, the garbage men, the scrap iron dealers, the teachers, the professionals, the businessmen, the retail officers, the public servants, the citizenry in general, does not care what you have to say, Law Association. You're a bunch of filthy, dishonest clowns, and that's how the people see you. And the mere fact that you don't understand that shows that you've buried your heads in a law book trying to lick BAMSEE for legal fees, and you're not in touch with reality. Because once you lose the trust of the people, people are not interested. There was a police service commission collapse. A commissioner of police was interfered with by a prime minister and a president. The leader of the opposition, Kamla Prasad Bisesa, was calling for a tribunal made up of judges to determine the truth of the matter and the interference in the selection of an independent institution, the lead of that institution, the commissioner of police, and you stayed silent as the PNM trampled on our constitution and usurped the authority of the DPP in the Nelson Gate matter, the indemnity that Faris Al-Rawi ala tight pants ala take picture with two men in the mirror in short pants hugging up. That Al-Rawi, the Law Association, legal matters, legal luminaries, the population was looking, listening on to hear your opinion, and you stayed silent. So with all due respect, Law Association, nobody cares what you have to say. You're a bunch of pariah waiting for a brief, and anything you would do to sell your soul for a brief to make money. You've lost any ability to impact the mind share, the hearts and souls of the nation. This doubles and coffee, people don't understand. Sometimes Randy, my partner, does tell me, Anil, you need to keep it short. Why you can't keep it short? The attention span of the people, especially the young ones out there, don't go longer than a minute or 2 minutes. I try. But you see, when I make a point and I talk about people and I talk about issues and I talk about positions, I have to give the factual matrix. I have to give the evidence that formulates my opinion and my opinions on matters. I have to remind people of the situation, because the most important thing when doing platforms or blogs is to never lie on somebody. As much as I detest Keith Christopher Rowley, as a man, as a father who is not a father because he's only choose who he does father and who he does pelt away, as a politician, as a so-called leader, as a teacher, And a man of manhood, Rowley is a scumbucket. I detest that human being. My blood crawls when I see him. He's so pathetic. I hold him up as an example to my son that when I am gone, please remain how you are, son. Good, honest, hardworking. Take care of your mother and your sisters. Take care of your family. No matter what. Work hard. Talk the truth. Based on fact. I've been on radio with Sprang Along, Dennis Hall, Christopher Sion since 2004. Radio, blog, TV. And the reason that people still care and people still listen is because you give facts, figures, and then formulate an opinion. The reason why nobody cares about you, Law Association, is you're bought and sold. You're a legal prostitute organization to the highest bidder. And the highest bidder is always the PNM. You warp your morals, your ethics, and your mouth. You get pipped when it's PNM. So nobody cares. So the fact that you, Law Association, made up of bright people, because to become a lawyer, you have to be bright. You have to be intelligent, at least in one aspect. Intelligence is not only studying in a book, regurgitating and writing down a test and passing. Intelligence is multi-pronged. So wake up, Law Association. Nobody cares what you have to say. What did you have to say when Rowley was trying to keep secret the fees paid to members, high-ranking members of your association, as divers were left in a pipe for 39 hours to suffocate and die, and their children, their wives, and their families are left without breadwinners? You went, shh, you're quiet. The courts had to say that Rowley was disgusting, dishonest, misbehaving public officer and was wrong for not divulging the fees. You said nothing, so nobody cares. So in other words, hush your mouth. Learn to read the room. The country has gone past you, Law Association. There are many other examples when you stayed quiet. What about when Stuart Smallpin-Young, who was the lawyer for Malcolm Jones, was in the office of the Attorney General, and the Minister of Communications then, Maxwell Coffey, said that the case against Malcolm Jones was going to be withdrawn from the court. This is in your alley. This is your thing. Court, law, Privy Council case, corruption, £100 million. And you said nothing. That Nelson, the later man of Nelson Gate and the indemnity, would simply change his detailed opinion that he was paid for and just say the case is weak. And the client of Stuart Smallpin-Young, an attorney in your association, was pulled out of court on a strong case to recoup hundreds of millions, or nearly $1 billion of taxpayers' dollars, and you stayed silent. So Law Association, nobody cares what you have to say. It's just like the PNM, watching the Standing Finance Committee in the Parliament and watching these clowns in the PNM, from the Zami man who still doesn't understand and doesn't have the intellectual wherewithal, even in crosstalk, to give anything of substance, to give talks of intelligence. He looks across at a female parliamentarian and all he could say now is double palm, just like Marvin, the man in the mirror with the next two men taking picture in a gym, hugging up, sweating, talking about double palm to a young parliamentarian, a minister who is running her ministry very well, and the people are most proud of Khadija Amin. This man who was rejected, this imbecile, this pathetic, idiotic, imbecilic clown called Stuart Smallpin-Young, a bully who needed to boost his self-esteem by oppressing another young student for 5 years until Imran Khan couldn't take it anymore and beat Stuart Young bad and throw him in a dustbin, giving him the name of Dustbin Terrier. He, the Zami man, who on a hot mic in the parliament used the F word and talked about a leader of the opposition and now Prime Minister and other female parliamentarians going in the bathroom to Zami. He has learned nothing, just like you, Law Association. On a hot mic yesterday, he's talking royal, double palm to Khadija Amin. Why you name small pin? You want to tell people why all the girls just call you small pin? Tell the country, Stuart, small pin, young. So nobody cares when you listen to Colmember, the worst minister of finance in history, that people hate. Even PNM people who love PNM for whatever reason hate Colmember. And he don't seem to understand that. He's still sitting there arrogantly asking questions as he for 9.5 years led us as a country down the path of bankruptcy. And now he's talking with arrogance, asking questions with arrogance, and sitting there in the Standing Finance Committee. The country has moved on from liars, dishonest, unethical, immoral buffoons of the PNM. Gatsby Dolly, Marvin Gonzalez, Marvelous Marva. You all don't even realize how to read the room. So to the rest of you, understand that's why PNM fake news media, that's why I'm losing money, Guardian Media Limited, 14, this year might be $18 million in losses in the red. Express newspaper, all of your revenue is down, your sales are down, your circulation down. Newsday down from the heights of 2014 of 49,000 papers down to 7,000 papers, struggling to stay afloat because of the dishonesty. Rhoda Barrett, new source, old source, sour sauce, ridiculous. Do you think Rhoda Barrett could convince any human being other than the most rabid, racist PNM fanatic who doesn't even understand why they are PNM? They just born there and they go dead day. Rhoda Barrett, you think, could convince anybody with a modicum of intelligence to vote PNM? The $3.3 million Dwayne supporter, Rhoda Barrett, who failed to disclose all of her revenue and her rationale. Her words are meaningless. She's just a clown printing nonsense. And she tries to get clicks based on lies. But when you do this law association, your words lose power. People don't listen to you. The Douglas here, Doubles and Coffee, you know how much PNM people that listen? They might throw a cuss and say you're ugly, you're bullet, all kind of thing. But they have to listen because they want to have the facts to try to attempt to make a case for the PNM, which is impossible, and I empathize with them. But the reason people switch on to Doubles and Coffee is just because of this. Look, I might have said this video, I wanted to do it 2 minutes, as Randy said. We are 12 minutes and 45 seconds. Why? Because I have to give you facts, figures, historical perspective to tell you that the Law Association is a bunch of clowns, a bunch of parasites who sold their soul. But Law Association, tell me why BAMSEE house the building, the 140 million that they went from 4 million deficit in the red to 140 million while in government. How come all the work stopped now as they out of government? The raffle stopped, the raffle tickets stopped, the contributions by councillors and MPs stopped. Why the work stopped on BAMSEE house? Because they're out of government. You had nothing to say about that Law Association. So, in the proverbial words of Dennis Hall, a.k.a. sprang along, hush your mouth. And in the new words of the new ladies who are hitting social media, go in your bed. I can't say the rest of it. So to all of you all, understand that truth, information, facts, social media is a savior to people. Mental slavery is gone. We free the mind from the bondage of oppression of liars like the Law Association, like PNM, like Colmember, the Zami man, like the PNM fake news media, like Transparency International. You know them only saying there's only be transparent when UNC in power. Frank Lumpkin, where is he? No more tutor president because he lied and he played politics and he was dangerous to the people and he's gone. Deacon, Police Welfare Association, you next. And what about the Chambers of Industry and Commerce, where man jump out from being president and going to be a senator in the PNM? So the truth will prevail. So Law Association, in summary, nobody cares what you have to say. Go and lick some more PNM BAMSEE and see if you get a brief. Bless.